Eurozone economy fell into recession in the first 3 months of 2023.
The U.S. economy is slowing down. Consumers are still spending and companies are still hiring and investing, but not at the same pace as last year.
Is the global economy slowing down? The World Bank thinks we're heading for recession.
The World Bank has put out a dire prediction. It affects all of us. It believes that the global economy may fall into a recession next year.
The global economic outlook for this year might be less gloomy than previously predicted, although it's not.
Guys, given that this kind of a recession looms on our head, it's like a knife at all times on our head, making us reconsider our plans to even think about studying abroad or continuing our education. What we sometimes like to think nowadays is, hey, the recession may just be too strong. Maybe why don't we just work in the industry and wait it out, and once it's gone, then let's go ahead with our study abroad journey because it's going to be cheaper, it's going to be easier. The answer to that is yes, that might be the case, but the amount of years, the amount of time of your life that you would be wasting during this endeavor, which you can actually just go ahead and upgrade your career to, this gap is going to be something that you would never be able to fill because that time is lost at the end of the day. So my personal advice to you is going to be, throughout this video, to not put your education on hold. A lot of people think that, all right, just because of the recession, we should put it on hold, and many times they are not even able to continue with their education ever in the future, simply because it's very difficult to actually plan it all over again once you start working in the industry. Now remember, why should you not put your plans on hold? Number one, no one knows how mild or how worse the recession might get. It can be just like it is right now, or it can get quite worse. It can be like the 2008 crisis that we faced, or it can be almost as if we feel nothing as of now, right? So there's a lot of factors that go into it, but one thing you need to know is that no one can predict the intensity. The next thing you need to know is that by the time you actually graduate, even if you're going for just a master's or a 2-year degree, essentially, most cases you will have seen the recession end by the time you have graduated. So what are my tips for you? I understand it's difficult to pursue studying abroad in a recession, and there are certainly some strategies that you can employ over here to ensure that you do not fall prey into the trap of the recession. How do you get ahead of most people who are going on this journey? How do you make sure that you're always one step ahead of the recession? These 3 tips are going to make sure that you don't fall into the trap. So the first tip for you over here is to focus on in-demand programs. Now, let me give you some examples of in-demand programs. That would be any STEM program whatsoever in most cases in the US. When it comes to STEM programs, they're more in demand and people are easily able to get jobs, right? So if you're considering doing an MBA, think of doing maybe a STEM MBA, right? If you're thinking of doing engineering, that's already great because that's already a STEM field. If you're thinking of doing psychology, consider other countries like the UK. Again, another example would be physicians in Canada, because even though this is not a STEM field now, but this is Canada that we're talking about, and Canada is short on physicians. It needs physicians. And similarly, you can consider the alternatives depending on the country. You can consider which country needs what kind of essentially people, and based on that, you can pursue your degree. Again, it's a simple demand and supply ratio game. All right. So remember, choosing your program, choosing your country is one of the most important things you could do right now. And that's the first step. If you make a mistake there, the recession can hit you hard. Now, when it comes to choosing the program that you're not able to actually figure it out, you can always reach out to me. My WhatsApp number is in the description. Reach out to me, tell me more about your case, and I'll be happy to tell you how I can help make sure that you move in the right direction when it comes to your career. Point number 2 is to never compromise on the location. A lot of people do that just because of a slightly better ranking of the university, they would go to a bad location. What is a bad location? A bad location is a location where there's a dearth of jobs. Employers are not there. It's very difficult to create your network. And when you have employers far off, you can't travel for the interview every time. Some employers don't prefer to take interviews virtually, and the ones who do, they think that you may not actually come to their location, simply because at the end of the day, relocating candidates are very difficult to find that are good ones. Essentially, as an employer myself, we look at relocating candidates with a bit of a filter as compared to how we look at candidates who can come in office and interview as well. So one example would be, for instance, if you're going for the field of finance, go for New York, go for London. but stick to these major areas, again, depending on the country you're going to. Another example is if you're going for computing or sciences, go to California, go to Toronto, right? Depends on the country again, but over here also you can understand what we are trying to say, right? So make sure that you're figuring out the best possible locations, best states, best provinces for your exact program, and for where basically the demand is very high, the supply is a bit low, and that's how you protect yourself from the recession as well. Point number 3 I have for you is to give it your 100%. And trust me guys, this is one of the most important pieces of advice, because if you take this lightly, you're probably not giving your 100% already. Don't slack off, build your network from the day one, build your resume, try connecting with people, try doing a lot of different kinds of projects, try connecting with professors in the research industry, build connections that bring value to your life in future as well. So let's say when you're not able to find a job at the end of the day, you should have connections that you can reach out to secure at least some opportunity in the meanwhile. One very good way to do that would be to sign up on YMGrad.com. Take a look at students from similar colleges, similar universities that are going to the same place that you want to target, or the ones that you are already targeting, right? And go ahead and connect with them. Make sure that you connect with them and you start talking about potential options to collaborate, to make sure that they're a part of your network, and you can always reach out to them and ask for help if required, and they can do the same as well. It's very easy on our website to chat with anyone that you find over there. So it's very easy to basically build your network, right? And you can very easily filter people by the university, by the college that they're going to. You can even find alumni just by doing that. I hope this video helps. Again, keep my advice in mind. Don't put your education on hold for the recession under any circumstances. People are not able to even proceed with their education even after the recession. Once it's put on hold, right, it's very difficult. And at the same point in time, it generally isn't worth it, given that you would be out of the recession by the time that you finish off. All the best, and let me know of the results. Let me know also about what you think in the comments, and subscribe to the channel and follow us on Instagram for more such content. Thank you so much for watching.